Hello and welcome to a video instructional series learning about exponents. In this video, we're going to be doing an introduction to exponents, defining some things such as expanded form, base, powers, exponents, and just thinking about what exponents are and how to use them. All right, so let's start with a basic definition. Exponents, when we see an exponent, it's simply a shorthand notation for repeated multiplication. So what that means is, let's take a look at an example here. What if I have 2 to the 4th power? So the exponent, when we talk about the exponent is this little number up here. We call that our exponent. Sometimes we also call it a power. So that's 2 to the power of 4. But then we also have a base number. That number 2 is the thing I'm taking the exponent of. We call that our base. So when I see this 2 with a little 4 above it, that's 2 to the 4th power, or 2 with an exponent of 4. And what that means is it's repeated multiplication. It means I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. I have multiples of 2 all multiplied together, and there's 4 of them. 4 is indicating how many times I'm multiplying the 2. So let's look at a few examples here. We're going to write these things out. We're going to think about what is going on here in terms of exponents and do some expanded form. So let's start with this example right here. I've got 3 to the 5th power, or 3 with an exponent of 5. Well, that 5 is telling me I have 3's all multiplied together. And in fact, there are 5 of them. We can count them all right up. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 3's all multiplied. A shorthand way of writing that is 3 to the 5th power. Well, 3 to the 5th power, I can actually calculate that. If I pull out my calculator, if I do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, it ends up equaling 243. So sometimes when we're working with exponents of numbers, we can actually calculate them out, get a result. So 3 to the 5 actually means, what is 3 to the 5th power? I can calculate that it's 243. We're going to go in a later video to talk about how to actually use our calculator, how to put in exponents, especially with more complicated ones or bigger numbers. It can get pretty tricky. Okay, let's take a look at another example here. Let's get a little bit algebraic. Here I have a variable to the 4th power. So y to the 4th power, well, that's the same as y times y. There's 4 y's all multiplied. Now I can't calculate it because I don't know what y is, but I can put it back into y to the 4th power. So being able to switch from exponent form into expanded form, let me write that out here. This is just expanded form. It's taking that exponent and showing what that exponent actually means. And expanded form is really helpful as we get into more complicated exponent properties and working with exponents. It's sometimes helpful to go back to expanded form to see why things work the way they do. So there we go. We got 3 to the 5th is 5 3's. Y to the 4th is 4 y's all multiplied together in expanded form. Let's look at one more. I got 2x, so there's my algebraic expression, all multiplied to the 3rd power. Well, that 3rd power means I've got 3 of them, 2x times 2x times 2x. So again, it's repeated multiplication. There's 1, 2, 3, 2x's all multiplying each other. All right, let's get a little more fun with this one. I can take away the parentheses and think about 2x is 2 times x and rewrite this whole problem like this. 2 times x times 2 times x times 2 times x. So now I've expanded my expanded form out even more. again, working with exponents, working with algebra, working with numbers, multiplying exponents. And with multiplication, I can think about the commutative property. It does not matter the order in which I multiply things. So I could rewrite this whole thing as 2 times 2 times 2, because there's 3 2's. But there's also multiplied by 3x's. And here's where it gets really fun. 2 times 2 times 2, all that just multiplies to equal 8. And the 3x's, well, 3x is the same as x to the third power. So there's working with some algebra, with some numbers, with some variables. You're thinking about exponents. What do exponents mean? It's repeated multiplication, working with base numbers, working with exponents and powers, and just being able to write things both in expanded form and back in exponent form. Hopefully this is a helpful introduction to you in terms of interpreting what an exponent is and how to work with it in algebraic expressions.